Prior to the tragedies at Homestead, he would often advocate in public for better conditions in steel mills and increased wages. But these words were far from aligned with his actions. Hypocrisy was incredibly prevalent. While he preached increased wages and improved safety conditions, he was simultaneously reducing labor costs by slashing paychecks and doing little, if anything, to make his factories a safer place to work. Carnegie was widely called a coward for using Frick as his scapegoat, not only for the tragedy but for all the other dirty work that he didn't want his name to be associated with. But in spite of the tensions and animosity, the steel mills continued to thrive. In fact, by 1900, the company would produce more steel than the entire nation of Great Britain. But in 1901, Carnegie grew tired of the game and wanted to spend time with his wife and daughter. Financier J.P. Morgan was a rising competitor in the steel industry, and Carnegie, now nearing 70, became open to the idea of selling the company he'd spent his entire life building. Carnegie wrote on a scrap of paper what he would be willing to accept. Charles Schwab, the president of Carnegie Steel, delivered the offer to Morgan. As the story goes, J.P. Morgan glanced at the offer, and without hesitation, accepted it. Morgan would buy Carnegie Steel for $480 million, making Carnegie the single richest man in the world at the time. Carnegie would completely cut ties with his business life and dedicate 100% of himself to serving the world through philanthropy. Not a single dollar would be left to his family. Because Andrew had only 5 years of schooling, he had a soft spot for libraries, which he credits for helping him achieve the financial success he acquired. Over the course of his life, he would donate over 500 libraries to cities all around the world. But it wasn't all self-promotion. He was generous for generosity's sake. His name was only displayed on less than 500 of those libraries. One example of his generosity is Carnegie Hall, one of New York's most recognizable landmarks. Built in 1891, Carnegie built and donated the building as the Music Hall, but its original name of the Music Hall was only changed to the current version after his death. And not by his request, but through the Music Hall's board members. And from 1901 until his death in 1919 in Lenox, Massachusetts, Carnegie's full-time job was giving away the vast wealth he had built up for himself. As we mentioned at the beginning of this story, Carnegie was a man who was as complex as he was rich. Did he employ abusive labor techniques to keep his factories producing maximum profit? Yes. Was he hypocritical? Of course. Did he make up slander to put his competitors out of business? Absolutely. While these things are all true, Carnegie's philanthropic impact is also equally great. Perplexing, to say the least. How can a man commit such sins and then become a saint? Perhaps he viewed donating his money as a way to atone for his business sins. Making money is a great feeling, but an even better feeling is giving it away. If you want to grow wealth, give us a like and subscribe to ABC Investing with the notification bell on. We can entertain you all day long, but remember that you are your own greatest resource.